Woosa! Woosa! The birds are in the win column once again. And all is right in the NFL world now that Philadelphia won. 28-22. 300 plus yards from quarterback one, 121 from A.J. Brown, 2 tutties. Devonta Smith had a career game of over 180 yards and a touchdown himself. Massive, massive win by the Philadelphia Eagles. Good performance by this offense. Great performance by the passing offense. And with all the injuries going down in this game too. Listen, kudos to the Vikings. They made this a ball game. It was down to the wire. And listen, to be fair, let's keep it a buck. I thought that Hockenson touchdown was a score. I don't get why they overturned that one. I thought that was a catch, but that's neither here nor there. Philadelphia went out and got this one on the road in a big game. And listen, we were talking about, as a fan base, we're talking about the scrutiny facing this quarterback and whether or not he should be benched for a skill set for Tanner McKee and how this offense just continues to look lethargic. At least this week, for a majority of this game, Jalen Hurts and this offensive coaching staff kind of put that to bed a little bit. Got back on track, really let the game come to them. Jalen was cool, composed. He had a perfect passer rating in this game. That is as good of a performance as you're going to see out of Jalen Hurts. That's probably the best game of his career, and that's even including the Super Bowls that he played in. So kudos to them. Kudos to Jalen. Kudos to the wide receiving core. They went out and got this one on the road in a big, big way. And listen, we were talking about this all week, and Eagle fans are saying how you cannot lose to the Minnesota Vikings, particularly because Carson Wentz is on the other side. And we saw the difference between the two quarterbacks today. Carson Wentz in the second half played great. He settled in, really kept this Vikings team in the ball game. But eventually, turnovers are turnovers, and he had 2 in the first half that basically won Philadelphia the game. And, you look at the Philadelphia Eagles and you always ask yourself, like, why can't we just do this every week? We have the talent to go out there and do it. Why can't we just put performances like this week to week to week? And people think it's because the quarterback is limited. He didn't show that today. People think the coaching staff is incompetent. I don't think that's necessarily the case either. The waves on this team are... they're an enigma. The Philadelphia Eagles are an enigma. They get a big win after a big, big week of scrutiny. And you saw how the vibes were this week. Everybody was very happy about how they were performing, what they felt like they were going to come into this game. So they got a big win, and now they're on to the New York Giants. And we're going to talk about this game and a little bit more about what this means going forward potentially, and whether or not this is something that they can replicate down the road in the season, because we got some really tough games coming up. You got a division game against the Giants, entering your bye week, and then you come out of your bye week playing the Lions, the Packers, and then the Cowboys. So it is not going to be easy sledding from here. This was just a game to get them to feel good about themselves again. A real good get-right game. And now we're on to the next one. But before we do that, let's introduce the show. This is the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. I'm your host, Asif Body. And like you, I am a Birds fan who talks about the birds, only the birds, and nothing but the Philadelphia Eagles. So please do a brother a favor here. Help us grow this channel organically by shooting this video a thumbs up, commenting your thoughts in the comments section below, and subscribing to the channel. Also, check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave a 5-star review, because in the end, it doesn't cost you a damn thing to go ahead and hit that big red button that says subscribe. Hit the thumbs up icon. We appreciate your support on the opposite side of the camera and on the opposite side of the airwaves. Again, quarterback one. Probably the best game of his career thus far. And this was a week where everybody was talking about how this guy cannot run a professional offense. This team is not able to go out and execute on a consistent level, week to week, a professional offense. They were questioning whether or not a team that just won the Super Bowl last season is good enough to continue with this quarterback and to put in Tanner McKee. Now, listen, I love Tanner McKee as much as any other fan in Philadelphia, but let's be real. I think the idea of putting in Tanner McKee for Jalen Hurts at this moment, it's a little bit of lunacy. It's a little bit of prisoner of the moment in Philadelphia. you think about what happened last week with the Denver Broncos and the Giants. That's 2 games in 4 days. Physical football team in Denver. You lose the game by getting conservative. You don't answer 18 points straight. And then you come back against the Giants on a short week on the road, division rival. You took them lightly, number 1. You played like shit, number 2. And number 3, they came out and punched you in the mouth. And I'm thinking it served more as a wake-up call for this football team, and I think that's why the vibes were so high this week going against the Minnesota Vikings. And it was a team that matched up well with the strengths of this Philadelphia Eagles football team. Now, with that being said, people thought this would be the game that they get the running game right. I thought Saquon would have a decent game. And now I did have a parlay where I had AJ score a touchdown. That happened, but I ended up not making money. But that's neither here nor there. Point being is, we thought this would be the game. The running game would step up and get going. They got nothing from the run game. 23 carries, 45 yards, no touchdowns, obviously. I mean, the running attack was non-existent. What really won them this game was the defense, because they forced 2 turnovers, one of them being a pick 6. Kudos to Jalen Hunt on that play. And Andrew Mukuba, a young buck, making the play down the field. This defensive line dominating the point of attack, getting pressure on Carson Wentz. I mean, I think Carson Wentz today really just had a rough game going in terms of sacks and in terms of just like third down conversions and all that jazz. I'm pulling up the playbook here for this defensive stat. They only got 2 sacks in this game, but the pressures were astronomical. I mean, for those of you who watched the football game, you saw how much duress Carson Wentz was under from opening tap till the end of the ball game. They were all over him. Now, again, Carson Wentz kept them in the ball game in the second half. He talented thrower of the ball. We all know this, especially in Philadelphia. They got talented receivers with Justin Jefferson and Addison, and O'Connell's a good play caller. However, time after time again, when they drove down the field from the 20-yard line to the 20-yard line, they got whatever they wanted, but in the red zone, the Eagles tightened up. The true definition of bend but don't break. And that's exactly what Philadelphia's mantra has been on defense in the Vic Fangio scheme time after time after time again. And again, there were some issues on defense by stopping the run on the edges, particularly. But you know what? The Minnesota Vikings, that's not what they like to do. They want to throw the ball all over the yard. I mean, they dropped back damn near 40 times with Carson Wentz in this ballgame. Now, they were down the whole time for the most part, but 42 pass attempts from this football team, 313 yards for Carson Wentz, 2 INTs. And listen, Jordan Addison just got whatever he wanted. Justin Jefferson, 10 targets, 5 catches, 80 yards, essentially. Quinyon Mitchell and Jetta was a very fun matchup today. But, you know, the Minnesota Vikings hung around in this ball game, and despite the fact that Jalen Hurts had only 4 incompletions, a perfect passer rating, 3 touchdowns, 326 yards, it came down to the very, very end, and it ended up being that we needed a long, deep shot to A.J. Brown to ice the ball game. Now, again, hell of a performance by this offense in Philadelphia. Hell of a performance by the quarterback and the coaching staff to answer the call. However, the question now is, can you rely on this team to perform like this week to week to week? Now, I'm not looking for 300 yards every single game. All right. What we're looking for, though, is this passing offense to at least eclipse 200 some odd yards week to week, be efficient as it's been in this game week to week, to get AJ and Devontae involved every single week. And I mean, look, there are moments in this game where you looked at the football team and you're like, damn, they got the passing game going. Jalen Hurts is flowing right now. They got this offense flowing. And then all of a sudden, the coaching staff decides to call a run play. And again, because the play calls are not getting in on time with like 7-8 seconds left on a play clock, whether that's Jalen Hurts' fault or the coaching staff's fault is yet to be seen and yet to be determined. But you're already playing a slower paced offense here, not getting the play in on time. They can't check at the line as much. And you settle for run plays that can kill drives because this running game right now in Philadelphia is non-existent. Saquon Barkley has not been the same player. Now, I don't believe it's because he himself has been compromised in terms of his durability. I think it's more so the offensive line, and you saw it. Landon Dickerson's not playing the same. Jordan Mailata's not playing the same. They had Brett Toth out there playing center. Cam Jurgens had to step out of the game because his back was killing him, and they put Brett Toth over there. I mean, it is an absolute turnstile right now in this Philadelphia Eagles running game. The offensive line just mixing and matching, trying to find something that works. And despite that, Jalen Hurts had a perfect passer rating. You got to give the guy credit. You got to give this team credit for coming back and answering the bell. And it leads me to this final point here that I think I'll finish the episode on. What does this coaching staff and Jalen Hurts have to do going forward to sustain this type of success? I don't know if it's exactly the ideal offense that this coaching staff wants to run. I think they want to run the ball, and I think they want to be a running football team. But you know what? Sometimes, as a coach, as the people who make the play, the design of the game plan, you have to read the room, and you have to look at what your team is playing like. And this season, while we have been a running football team for the better part of, the past 5-6 years, right now this offensive line is not run blocking well, but they're pass blocking exceptionally. Jalen Hurts today showed, I think if you just put the ball in his hands a little bit more, he's capable of at least operating an offense that's functional. Letting him make throws that an NFL quarterback has to make. I am not sitting here suggesting that he could throw the ball like Stafford 38 times a game, or Josh Allen or Burrow or anybody like that, or even Mahomes. That's not what I'm suggesting here, because that's a recipe for disaster too. Because he's not those guys. Let's just be real in terms of arm talent. But what I am saying is that this guy is an NFL quarterback. There's a reason he has been successful in this league, and it's not because he doesn't possess a shitty arm. I think the guy has gotten an opportunity, or he at least deserves an opportunity, to go out there and prove that he could throw it as well as he can actually play make. Today was a game where he threw the ball in tight windows, anticipation, read the defense pretty well. Now he had open guys a lot. There's no doubt about it. The design of the game today, really, really good. And again, this is the design for a lot of NFL teams. So don't tell me that all these other NFL quarterbacks are consistently throwing into tight windows and they're consistently trying to layer throws. That's not what they're doing. NFL offenses nowadays are more closer to college offenses than they ever have been. And they're throwing to a lot of wide open players, a lot of wide open guys, a lot of designs to get these guys open in space. Today was a day where everything kind of came together in Philadelphia in the passing attack, and Jalen Hurts executed. Let him show you, or give him the opportunity to go out there and sink or swim with his arm. If he stinks, if he's shitty, you're going to lose anyway, right? So let it be all on him. Call your offense, let him execute it, and if it falls short, it falls short because of his incompetent play. But if he goes out there and he plays like he did today, then what you have is a quarterback that's capable of running the offense you actually want to run. And I think that's a good sign. And listen, is this something that's going to happen next week? I don't believe so. I don't think that's what this organization wants to go out and do. Okay? Because, quite frankly, they just haven't done that all year and in the Sirianni era. But winning this game was big, because all week we were talking about how You cannot lose to Carson Wentz and the Minnesota Vikings, or else you're going to have a big problem with the quarterback discussion. The guy who was here, Carson Wentz, your number 2 overall pick that helped you in 2017 win your first Super Bowl, beat your team when you were struggling with your quarterback. It would have led to a cascade effect potentially of starting that story, starting the snowball of potentially benching Jalen Hurts. If that's true, if losing today's game would have caused that effect, then you have to look at what winning that game does for this football team. Winning this football game today against the Minnesota Vikings in the fashion that you did, you have to say to yourself, we have a quarterback that shows the capability of going out there and doing this. Can this coaching staff and this organization give him consistent opportunities to prove that he can do this week to week to week? And the problem is with this organization and this football team is that they don't let him do this consistently. Now, I am not sitting here saying let Jalen cook, because that's more like Seattle and Russ. What I am saying, though, don't limit your playbook. Let him make the throws that he has to make in this offense, because more often than not, he's going to make a throw that can win you a ball game. That 3rd and 13 was a play, a Jalen Hurts special. Nothing was open. The pocket collapses. He rolls out to the right, makes a play, throws a dot to AJ on the sideline, makes a great catch. And that, you sprinkle that magic in with consistent opportunities, you could get an outcome like you saw today. And I think that should be the takeaway from this Minnesota Vikings and Eagles game. There shouldn't be a quarterback controversy right now in Philadelphia, just like there shouldn't be a head coaching controversy in Philadelphia. What needs to happen, though, is that this play calling, this coaching staff and design, and the quarterback and the skill players, you need to start accentuating the strengths of each other. And you saw it today. Jalen Hurts is a playmaker. Let him go out and play make, but also let him get the opportunities to go out there and make the throws that you want him to do within the scheme of the offense. Because they let him let it rip today, and it came out pretty good. That's the takeaway. Let Jalen rip it and let it sink or swim with him, or let it be known that he can't function in this offense. And that's what you have to learn from this damn game. I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but hopefully for the rest of the year, that's what happens, because this offensive line's run blocking scheme, they're not able to sustain their blocks. They're able to protect the hell out of the quarterback when passing the ball, and his ability to extend plays gives an opportunity for all of these wide receivers to go out and make plays. So again, great performance by this football team. Great performance by Jalen Hurts and this offense and this coaching staff. Give them credit too. I thought this was Kevin Patullo's best play calling game from opening tap till the final whistle. That's how you build as the season goes on. And with this defense, it's opportunistic and youthful and young. It's going to have ups and downs, but ultimately you held a really good Vikings offense to 22 points. That's what you ask for in the NFL. Can you hold a team as a defense? Can you hold a team to 21, 22, 23 points? And as an offense, can you consistently get me 24 plus? You do that, you're winning football games all the time. And again, I know I just said that because you're outscoring the defense. You get my point, though. When you consistently can do that week to week for the most part, which I think this Philadelphia Eagles team is capable of doing, you got a recipe for a good thing here. And in the NFC, there's no juggernaut. The Bucs are good. They're not healthy, but they're a really good football team. We beat them too earlier this year. The Rams, they look really, really good, but I don't think this is a team that Philadelphia can't go out and beat. Detroit, same thing. The Packers, the same thing. The Seattle Seahawks, same thing. I don't think any team is afraid of each other in the NFC, and that's what's going to make this season so freaking fun to watch. But Philadelphia, again, shows when they're hitting on all cylinders what they can do in the passing game. Their running game, leaves to be desired at the moment. But for now, You got to give them credit where credit's due. Great performance, great answer by this football team. And that's the show. That's all I got. We're going to talk about this team and this scheme and what we're going to look like against the Giants later on in the week. But for now, let's enjoy this victory. Let's enjoy the world lifted off the shoulders of the Philadelphia Eagles at the moment, because right now, all is right, at least in the moment, in the city of brotherly love. And on that note, go Birds!
Hey! Thank you so much for watching the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. If you want to continue to support the channel, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Riding the Bench Eagles Pod. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it, we're on there. Thank you so much for listening, and please join us next time here at the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast.